Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk about the TerraMaster F5-220 Now, for those that aren't aware, I've talked about TerraMaster on this channel quite a lot. I kind of took them into my heart a few years ago because although the NAS industry is very, very diverse, there's actually just two big brands that pretty much dominate everything for you guys, Synology, QNAP. But there are loads and loads of other brands out there, and too many of you don't realise what you could be missing out on with some of these brands. Also because Synology and QNAP weren't always at the tippity top the whole time. And a lot of the time, there was brands like WD, and before that there was Snap Server, and there was, for business, there's always been HP and stuff like that. But the amount of time it took for Synology and QNAP to get to the top of that food chain took a long time. And now they are there, they've been there for a while. But one of the reasons that I took TerraMaster to heart so much in earlier videos, right up to the current day, is the evolution of their hardware and their software has genuinely been just astonishing. It has gone in the last 2.5 years, 3 at a push, so fast in a way that Synology and QNAP would have been completely eclipsed if the two had been running side by side. Of course, that is technology for you, things get easier, but it has to be said that this device here that goes for about 350 quid, this 5-bay NAS, gives you some fantastic features in the hardware and software department. There are a number of things that this has that Synology doesn't give you and QNAP doesn't give you, and somehow they've managed to give you it in their package. Yes, they're not quite as fluid and polished as Synology and QNAP, but they are getting damn close, and a lot of their hardware with its constant firmware updates is definitely something to pay attention to. So that's the intro out the way. Let's talk about this device. This is a 5-bay NAS device. It has certain features and functionality that are going to interest a number of you. It's got an Intel CPU. It's got the Intel J3355. That's a dual-core 2.0 GHz chip that can be bursted up to 2.5. It also arrives with 2 gig of memory that can be expanded. They say officially up to 10 gig. I wouldn't be surprised if you can take it to 16, but that's unofficial, in my opinion, and something I'll try after this video. It's got USB, it's got multiple LAN ports on the rear, it has HDMI on the rear. On the inside, it's got that great TOS operating system up to now, version TOS 4.0. We did a software overview and a mobile overview of TOS back in version 3, so we're looking forward to do another video overview of that software in this new unit. On top of that, this device supports AES level encryption up to the standard you would expect from that CPU, but what's really exciting is BTRFS. It has that on board as a file system choice, something that only Synology give you right now. So not only has it got the HDMI access and scale that you would expect from QNAP, but now you've got the internals of a fluid operating system, multiple apps, Plex support and more, and BTRFS in sight, and that is why you need to pay attention to the rest of this video. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over a bit to the hardware and get the camera nice and close so we can unbox it. The software I'll review in the next video. But if you were looking at this device at 350, at that price range, you are comparing against from Synology the likes of the DS418 Play, which does cost about the same amount. That's about 360, and that's without VAT, so you have to include your local tax and it'll be more expensive. Or from QNAP, you're probably looking at the TS453B, which is significantly more expensive than this, once again with and without VAT. And right now, this is kind of ticking all the boxes for a number of you. And although I've talked about TerraMaster NASs in the past, and they've sent them to me just to sample and use on the channel and review for positive or negative, this is the first one I've purchased. Okay, take that into account. All the other ones were sent. This was purchased by myself. This is the one that I wanted to get my hands on to see if it can, compete with the big boys. And of course, I'm going to be reviewing it against a number of Synology and QNAPs as well. You better believe I'm going to get my money's worth out of this. So don't worry, this isn't paid placement on this video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this bad boy unboxed and give you some idea about what kind of hardware you're getting. Because if there's one area that TerraMaster could still up their game on, to be perfectly honest, it's design. And although it's great on the inside and great ports and that software's got a lot to be said for it, wait till the other video before you make your judgment, the design still could use some work. Let me show you. Right, so there's our box there, the retail packaging. If we take a good look around, we can see that they've stuck with the blue external packaging. At least it looks a little bit nicer than the early ones that were in those brown box designs. And we can move forward with the unboxing. If we get that out of there, You can see first and foremost our box of accessories, so let's move you there. With the device, when you buy it, you receive external power brick, which is always helpful, your external PSU, screwdriver, again not unheard of with these Eastern companies, I've got to say, and a LAN cable there for the rear, a Cat 6 cable by the looks of it. Also we have screws for 2.5 inch and 3.5 inch drives, as well as adhesive feet there for the base of the device. We also have stickers there for individual drives if we're going to do hot swapping, frequently asked questions during setup, first time in setup guide, and of course your limited warranty information there. And that's your lot for your box. So let's go straight to the box. Right. So if we get this bad boy out of the retail box, we can take a closer look at it. Just remove that. Ignore the noise. The unit itself comes in that retail packaging there. Remove that. And there is the TerraMaster F5-220 Now, straight away, as you can see, it is a 5-bay NAS device. Now, with the design, I feel like I was unduly harsh about the design of this device. It is a nice box. Don't get me wrong, I'm still quite in love with the likes of Synology's external and WD's and all these ones that surround this device right now. But there's still no denying that this device does look a little dated by today's standards. But if you're going to set this unit up and never look at it, who cares? The front of the device has got LED lights for system access, hard drive health, network access, power and more. We also have individual trays if we remove those. They've upgraded these trays significantly from the first generation of units all those years ago. These are still screw hole trays and they are plastic trays, but at least they're not those plastic holder ones, and definitely something they feel very secure indeed. Give that a good squeeze there. And if we look inside the device, we've got that controller board right there at the back, and the trays themselves cannot be locked, unfortunately. We've got the power button at the front, but the trays themselves, they do slot in quite easily, and the device itself, I've got to say, not too shabby there by the front. Side of the device has got their logo there, sorry the light is reflecting quite heavily there, on the other side as well, and the base has got loads of ventilation too, to keep things nice and cool. There's those extra feet in case some of them get damaged or worn out over time. Now the rear of the device has got a couple of cool little bits. Obviously there's the two rear fans, and they can be controlled from the user interface of the software, TOS, to give you better control, increase them, decrease them, basically reduce noise as needed. And we will of course try to do a noise test on this device as well. We've got two LAN ports there, so the device supports link aggregation. So with the right media inside, you are looking at potential speeds externally of around 200 megabytes per second read-write, even with encryption with that CPU. And a couple of USB 3 ports here at the top for external storage and supported USB devices. But what's super interesting is the HDMI port. Now, HDMI on a NAS is one of those things that some people don't care about and other people care about way too much. And I agree with them, HDMI is very useful. And how the TerraMaster series will deal with HDMI output, I will find out in the next video when I do my software overview, as well as connecting this device to an HDMI monitor. But HDMI on NAS is something that is still quite cool overall, because a number of you users out there, whether it's for surveillance, Plex, multimedia, virtual machines or more, like to have an HDMI out so you can have, when needed, a local means of accessing your data via this visual user interface. But the device itself is quite compact indeed. I mean, if I try to bring it down for the camera and we compare it against the Synology 5-bay there on camera, I may have to quickly remove that there. We can see the scale difference between the Synology and the TerraMaster. Now, Synology are many things, but I never thought I would ever say that a Synology was the bigger of the two, but it actually is. It manages to be a great deal bigger. Now, don't get me wrong, this Synology is a quad-core CPU and it's got NVMe slots in the bottom, but that's still not a good enough excuse why this device here is so much bigger than the TerraMaster. But that's something for another video. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap things up. Do check out part 2 of this video, where we're going to start talking about the software and how it relates to you, the end user, be you home or business. But see you in the next part of this review. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all the parts covering the F5-221. And don't forget to visit span.com to get your hands on one of these bad boys, because they've got the best prices around right now and 25 years of experience. Can't argue with that. See, that was a plug. That at the end, wasn't it? Cheerio. See you later.